Hey, how's it going, MicroGrinders? Alton from MicroGrinder.com back again to provide you another live play video for our How to Beat Bovada 5NL series. I've got 3 tables up and running today rather than the usual 4 because I'm rendering one of my previous recordings, and it's a 60-minute long recording. I'm rendering it in HD, so it's taxing my computer resources, and when I had 4 tables up and running with my HUD and everything else, it really slowed down my computer. So I've tried rendering this video a couple times, and my computer rebooted on me once by having Windows updates automatically reboot it, and another time the power went out. So trying to play it safe right now. Anyways, instead of having 4 tables, just having 3 instead. And what I'm doing instead of having a 4th table down here is I just have Ecolab open, just to kind of go through when I'm doing my thought process for beginners, clicking on ranges so they have an idea of, what's going on in my head. Here, with the 6-5 jack, I'm going to go ahead and fire out a value bet. Yes, they could have a jack, but I can get called by a lot of flush draws, straight draws. A jack's just a small part of the range, and we got a 60-60. I mean, this guy is playing everything. We got a 40-0, so again, he's playing a wide range as well. This guy's crazy. This player, he only had 80 cents behind him. I am not calling with pocket 4s, even though I'm probably around 50% equity with whatever he's holding. But he can easily dominate me with any larger pairs, so we're just going to be folding this hand right here against him, picking a better spot against this fish. And this is pretty much the worst run out I could ever expect here, with pocket 10s. Yeah, the jack was so-so. The queen made it worse, and the ace made it even worse. So, in terms of what they're holding in the range, they could easily have a queen or an ace or a weak jack, and so at this point we're just giving up. Anybody bets, I know he checks, so he probably doesn't have anything, but he could easily have something, and if he bets, we're just folding. And we get to go to showdown and see what they had by folding, so let's see what they had. So yeah, 10 king. Interesting here, I get floated by 10 king of clubs, and he hits the backdoor straight. So we'll make a note of that. And let me go ahead and for some reason replayer isn't working when I click hand history, so I'm going to try doing it the old-fashioned, actually not the old-fashioned way, but their new way, which is also super clunky and doesn't work that well. It's a standard fold right here. And then again here, the king 4. Really no point in playing. This is just a horrendous hand, so we're just going to fold. And while I'm not playing any hands, I'm just going to go ahead and start tagging the fish. On table 1, I have this player tagged, and this player tagged, and this player's tagged as a fish. I'm not too sure about this player yet. Looks super nitty, and not too sure about this player. He's a 29-14, even though he's really short stacked. And then on table number 2, this really isn't that great of a table. We have a 35-25, a 10-0, a 44-22, and a 25-25. So this player only looks like the bad player on this table. Everybody else looks somewhat decent, somewhat ruggish. Here with the pocket tens, standard ISO raise, 3 big blinds plus 1 for each limper. I'm hoping he just re-raises, gets it all in. And then here, against a 25-25, ace queen offsuit does well, flatting against their button stealing range, so we're just going to call. And then against this player, we're just looking to get it in. Easy call with flopping the set. And if he hits a queen, he wins. If not, he doesn't. Here, if he c-bets, I don't have any c-bet stats on him, but with an ace and a queen over, I can easily float if he doesn't make it too much. And he does go ahead and he does c-bet, so we're going to call one time. Hope to spike an ace or a queen. We do hit a gutter for the 3 for the straight now, but unless he gives me amazing pot odds, then we're just going to go ahead and fold. And go ahead and top off just in case it feels like he's going to c-bet again. And he does. And at this point, there's really no point in staying in this pot. We have 4 outs for the straight draw, and we have 6 outs, so we have 10 outs. Gives us around 20% equity. The question is, if we spike, are we going to get paid off? Most likely not. So, against a thinking player, I think this is just a fold. And then in the cutoff here, we're opening up any suited ace. So, standard open here. Oh, and also in terms of how things have been going since I started the Bankroll Challenge, I logged around 800 hands, super small sample. I've been doing the videos over the past couple of days, so I haven't really played that many hands. But I'm up around 80, I'd say around, 80 big blinds and winning at around 17 big blinds per 100. So definitely can't complain, not going to complain at all. So yeah, it's, pretty happy results here on this wet board. I'm just going to check in here. This is a great isolation raise spot. We're going to make it 45. Actually 46, sorry. And then against this player, we're just going to look to get it in. We'll just go ahead and put him in right now. And the fact that he flatted this and flatted 3-bet definitely are tendencies of what a fishy player would do, and the fact that he only has less than 20 big blinds left in the stack, that also indicates he's a fish. So we're going to go ahead and mark him without any further ado. Here, we're just giving up with the ace high. On this table down here, it looks like the fish is left. There are no fish left on this table. 29-21. I got a 17-0, a super nit, and we got a 29-29. So I really see no reason to stay on this table. And then we have a fully stacked guy who comes in and starts playing. So for that reason, I'm actually going to start looking for another table to get on and close out that table. And unfortunately, there aren't that many tables going right now at 5 and L. And in fact there's only 3 and they don't look that good. So I'll just stay on here until something good opens up and I'll switch over. Here, if nobody opens on the button, we're obviously opening King 9 off. You notice that's easily in our range. When this guy is limping 65% of his range, we can raise, but I'd like a stronger value hand than a King 9 off, so for that reason I'm just going to fold. This is a good flop for us. We flop the up down. Go ahead and bet out. 60% in the pot against this unknown. And I'm actually going to go ahead and sit out. I'm not going to do another orbit on this table. And I'll bring in my new table that I just loaded up. So this is a table that I loaded up. There were 2 available seats. There was this seat and this seat. This guy's semi-short stacked. And then these 2 players were really short stacked. This guy was around $1.80. This guy had around $1.50. Under the gun, I could open pocket 5s, but just sticking to this very tight range. I have a fairly tight table here, except for this person to my right. You know what? Because he is in a small blind, I am going to open up. Yeah, we have this short stack here, but you know, if he jams, we saw around 50% equity. And then, of course, you know, this is about as wet of a flop that it can get. He does have a really tight range, but because it is so wet, I am going to check. And then when he checks back again, we're going to take a stab at it on the turn. A little bit of a delayed c-bet bluff there on the turn. So getting back to this table, I could have sat here or I could have sat here. The reason I chose here is because I have these 2 fish here. Well, this player left already, but I didn't want the larger stack directly to being in position to me a majority of the time. When I'm here, he's only in position at half the time, and I have position on him the rest of the time. And nobody can sit here and take advantage of these 2. I always have these people directly to my right, so it works out in my advantage. Here, this is just a fold, and down here with the King 8 off, that's just a fold. It's a fold to this guy's shove. Definitely a fold with the 5-6 off. For a better player, I think you could profitably open this up, especially when this player has folded up to 100% of all steals. Granted, it's only been 1 steal, and this player is an unknown, but for this video series, I'm sticking to a tight range, so we're just going to go ahead and fold. And again, here with ace-2 soft, I could isolate or I can just limp. I'm going with the limping mode because I want to play multi-ways, and if I flop the flush or the straight or 2 pair, then I'll get paid. So this is more of a low-risk type of a model of playing here with ace-2 suited being in position to everybody. But then when we do flop the ace, we have to be cautious. So we're not overly happy about the ace. We are going to bet it. But we're not happy if we get called. Yes, we can get called by straight draws and flush draws. But if somebody has the ace, then we're dominated. And then the 5's not that bad. Yeah, I could continue to barrel, but I don't think he's going to fold, and if he has an ace, he's definitely not going to fold. If he has a 10, I'm going to fold out worse. So for that reason, I'm just going to check. And then at this point, we're probably chopping close to 100% of the time with 2 pair with a 10 kicker. So when he checks, we're going to put out a thin value bet. I may get called by a worse ace, but when I put out a thin value bet, I'll probably get called by a 10. So just under half pot. So on this table, we can automatically go ahead and tag this guy as a fish. I mean, played Jack 5. A bit of a cooler for player 6 there, but it happens. We have gotten 80-60, really can't make much of that at this point. 50-0, it's only 2 hands in, really can't make much of that either. So we just know right now that this player right here, directly to my right, is a fish. We really don't know much about any of these other players. Queen deuce suited underneath the gun, easy fold. This would have been an interesting flop if I had 7-8 suited and I played that in middle position. Definitely a good hand right here if you are in to barrel with. Nine three off, middle position, again an easy fold. And then we get these fishy moves here. So we have this guy, player 3, he's limping in 24% of his range. So if I take this, we'll just do, give him 24%. So this is approximately what his range is. His range is probably somewhat more like something like this. So, you know, this player does shove all in for 12 cents. I'm in the blind. Ace-4 off is really not that great of a hand. You don't want to be playing multi-ways. Yeah, I'm getting really good pot odds to call, but really no reason to get out of line even if, you know, it's a blind and a half to call. So we're just going to go ahead and fold. It'll be very interesting to see what this player limped in because he's limping a tight range overall. He's passive and he's tight, so you know we can't really rule out a really strong hand out of his range. And so of course this guy shoves with the king deuce suited. And unfortunately pocket nines get counterfeited. I really don't like his play at all here. Just quite horrendous. he limps pre-flop in early position, and then the short stack shoves all in for a blind and a half more. This player calls his last to act. I think this is a good spot to repop it up and isolate against this guy all in and to take down their dead money. But pre-flop, I just like an isolation raise against the under the gun limper, so player 4 definitely a fishy move. So we're definitely taking note that he's short stack, like 8 big blinds, jamming, all in. I think it was even less than 8 big blinds. I think it was very difficult to tell. Against this fishy player's raise, I'm definitely, yeah, he's short stack, but I'm calling with Jack 10. Makes a lot of nutted hands. I don't mind risking 3.5 big blinds to stack this guy. And then on this flop, we have really no equity. If these were clubs, we could definitely continue, but with the Jack 10 suited, no, we can't really continue, so that's an easy fold. Pocket 4s, we're definitely calling this under the gun raiser, hoping to spike a set. We're on the button, we're in position to everybody, hopefully one of the blinds come along. And if we flop a set, then we can usually, against the under gun range, we can usually stack them or get a majority of their stack. Unfortunately, we miss, so at this point we just fold. So I typically, when I'm set mining and I'm in position, I typically like to target larger stacks and early position raises because you know they have a stronger range. When they have a stronger range, they're more likely to stick with it and to put a lot of money in the pot versus a late position open. So that's just something to think about. And definitely because he was deep stacked, yeah, he's a 73-45. I don't have any aggression factor stats on him yet, but the fact that he looks to be fairly loose aggressive and was under the gun made me hopeful that I could, if I hit a 4, I could definitely get a lot of value out of him. So, middle position, King 9 offsuit is just, here's King 9 offsuit. Just not strong enough for the hand to be opening, so we should be folding this. Again, so Jack King looks like it's a strong hand, but it's really not that strong of a hand. And when it's offsuit, it's even worse. So I don't recommend that beginning players open up Jack King offsuit under the gun. My first spot for opening Jack King suited or off is actually going to be middle position. So the problem with opening Jack King offsuit is that if you spike a king, you could be in a reverse applied odds type of a situation if somebody's calling your under the gun raise. So king queen is definitely a possibility, and then same thing for Jack. You could be up against ace Jack. So, and then for that reason, because it's not suited, there's no flush possibilities. I just don't like to play. So we're coming up on 25 minutes. I'll probably let this run for about another orbit. I do need to stop this video at 30 minutes. I'm finding that when I create a video that's too lengthy, my computer just bogs down too much when I'm trying to render it in HD for YouTube. So, we'll stick them and we'll keep them at 30 minutes. No more 60-minute long videos. It's just too difficult trying to render it. I don't have the most powerful of desktops. It's Intel Core 2 Duo with 4 gigs of RAM. So, I don't have an i3, i5, or i7 processor with lots of RAM. So, stuck with what I got. But we'll make it work. And hopefully sometime by the end of the day this video will be finished rendering. Been trying to get it rendering in HD since last night and been having issues. So if this player doesn't steal, I'm obviously going to be opening up a6 suited in the small blind, but he does steal. He's a new player. I really don't have any stats on him. A6 is a good candidate for repopping it to defend against a steal because I have blockers to any ace that he has. I'm also suited, so I have the flush draw. But because I don't have any stats on him, he's full stacked. At this point, I'm just going to fold. Go ahead and sit out on that table. Ace-9 under the gun. Again, not strong enough to be opening, so we'll be folding that. And then, of course, standard steal on the button with ace-10. And I get called by this fish up here. I spike an ace. We're just going to continue value betting. So 24 cents looks about good. About 3/4 pot. And we'll sit out here. Interesting that he is time baking so long. And he folds. I think that's going to be... We're approaching on 28 minutes, so I'll just show my ace since I'm going to be sitting out and let him know that he made a good fold. But overall, looks like I played close to 100 hands. I did have this table down here that I switched out. And between all of them, it's only 100 hands, but looks like we won around 70, maybe 70 big blinds between all 4 tables that I was on. So 70 big blinds, sorry, not 70 big blinds, around 30 big blinds, so 30 big blinds per 100, yeah, you can't complain. Again, it's a small sample size, so try not to be results oriented, just try to play, correct poker, don't get into spots where you're behind and you're just going to spew money, but hopefully this has been informative. Hopefully having this down here was informative as well. I know I didn't use it that much because it was fairly standard spots. But overall, good short session, and thanks for watching, and look forward to having you watching the next video. Alright, take care.